Last time on Untold Stories.
We have introduced Jakku's friends, Koyosuke, Yuma, and B-Roy. Jakku had a problem with his current girlfriend and usually talks about it with Koyosuke. His current girlfriend is very annoying and always whines and vents and vents. Sachi also had a problem as she had to choose between two perfect people and she chose the second one. What will happen to the party and will they be able to live with their problems? Find out in this episode. Untold Stories, Part 3. Koyosuke was the dagger master of this game. He created a unique story for all the adventurers to overcome, and he worked so hard on it. He spent so much effort into making a great campaign for his friends to enjoy. B-Roy was the excited and energetic as usual, leading the team and taking the spotlight, helping everyone get through most challenges. He has the highest charisma and the highest diplomatic skills since he was the main bard. Yuma was the killer, making sure and trying his best to kill as much as possible. Jacky was the warlock, calling upon the power of the Hexblade to his aid. All adventurers had a certain mission, to go to the Underdark and save the people of the sun, who risked their lives to find the shield of the god of the sun. Everyone was having fun, until the moment when the group decided to kill a side quest giver. Why they killed him? Because, well, he looked like an ass, so they decided to get rid of him and take his shit. This really turned off the GM, Koyosuke, from this game. And this was the last Daggers and Draggers campaign he hosted. Not much later, he decided to quit their group and find himself more responsible people. During every session, Jacky usually talks with his girl Benkai and his friend Sachi. He likes to spend time with Sachi a lot, more than he does with Benkai. He likes the fact that Sachi wasn't complaining and whining every single day about every single thing. However, usually the one who stays with him longer is Benkai, as he doesn't sleep. So he usually goes to the fountain area after the game and spends some more time to heal Benkai. At the fountain, he spends some time off his busy schedule listening to all of Benkai's problems. They usually include some very explicit things that could scar a person for life. Things that he never thought he would hear from a girl, in public, in front of many people. Things that should stay private. He wasn't able to handle all her problems. He really wanted to let off some stress, so he decided it's a good idea to include his friend Koyosuke in this. After calming her down for a while, and keeping her from suiciding, he decided to go ahead and tell Koyosuke and to see if he can help her get all the negative thoughts become less suicidal. After listening for a while, his girl decided to go to the bathroom, so he thought this was the perfect timing to go and get back up. He went ahead and told Koyosuke everything about the situation. He requested help from Koyosuke. Koyosuke didn't really want to get involved as this girl seems mental, but he decided to make an exception to help a friend. He decided to help out and do this. Jacky started explaining how she's somehow in love with him and talks to him almost every minute of her free time. He showed him some examples of conversations they had on Concord, and most of all, they were related to suiciding, cutting, whining for no reason whatsoever. Whining and complaining all the time, then one love you at the end of a long, tiring conversation. He also mentioned the fact that she does some explicit things in public and brags about it. She is literally selling her body for free to anyone who wants. She's insane, and backup was indeed required. Koyosuke asked her to talk with him alone, and she agreed. During that time, Koyosuke was trying to help her out and try to change her thought process on cutting and suiciding. He wanted to keep her alive as much as Jacky did, and he tried his best to help her out with her problems. However, to him, she seemed completely fine, and is just trying to act weak so she can keep Jacky from leaving. To him, she seemed like she's pretending to be suicidal, and she cuts because it's a habit now, and she has nothing wrong with it. He also hypothesized that she cuts because it attracts more attention from people, and he really thought it's better for Jacky to just stay away from her. However, Jacky never listens, does he? Koyosuke decided it's best for him to know exactly what's happening, so he offered to walk with them. His plan was to try and act like a third wheel, deliberately, so he can hear their conversation with each other without being a part of it. He noticed that they seemed too friendly with each other, a little more than friendly, but he also noticed how much whining Benkai does, and it's a bit too much for anyone to handle. He really wants Jacky to stop talking to her. She drains your soul like there is no tomorrow. She's a leech, and she must be stopped. However, Jacky is very stubborn, and he wanted to help her out. Suddenly, he sees Sachi, and she calls him over to talk to him about something important. She starts talking to him about a deep story. A story about a boy who has a past she doesn't agree with. The boy is her friend. This boy has had intimate interaction with a girl, and possibly made a baby. However, he dumped her not much later as he doesn't want to be with a cheater. This girl cheated on him and he didn't want her anymore. However, Sachi doesn't want to accept because he shouldn't have had that much intimacy with her if he's not gonna marry her. That mistake is the main reason why many children are put up for adoption. She wasn't too happy. Jacky comforted her by saying that some people are like that, not everyone is, and the girl cheated on her, probably deserves it. She still doesn't want to accept. But then she hugged Jacky and told him that he's her best friend in a long time. She thanked him for always being there for her and helping her when she needs it. This is a surprise to Jacky as he doesn't think too highly of himself. He is extremely self-degrading and really thinks he will mess up everything in some way or another. He hugged her back and they became best friends. He then went to relax and well, his girlfriend was with him. He was just relaxing in the yard while his girl keeps texting her friends and having fun with him. He enjoyed sitting and pondering while in nature. It made him relax and feel calm and collective. This was a first, but his girl hasn't started complaining yet. This was perfect. Everything seemed calm and collective. Until he noticed his girl being a bit uneasy and scared. He asked what's wrong and he started looking at her chat. He saw that she was texting a 4-year-old man and he is asking her for very explicit things. He then knew that she went to the bathroom before to deliver these explicit things. She cheated on him with a pet. He asked her, why would you give it to him? She said, I was feeling a bit drunk, okay? And I was in need to see something in return. This wasn't the best. He took the phone and texted her a location to me. Since he was into it, he agreed. Jacky then went over to Koyosoki and decided to gang rush this dude and put him in his place. He is too old, and he isn't supposed to be asking a 16-year-old for this. They were both ready to greet him very warmly. Little did he know he was about to be ambushed. He came to the location very excited to meet the 16-year-old. As soon as he saw 2 men waiting for him, he got a little bit scared. He asked this where Benkai lived. They looked at him with disgusted looks and cornered him to a side. They started screaming at him as to why he wants to meet up with a 16-year-old, knowing he is well above her age range. He was nervous. He didn't know what to do. Benkai came out from behind the tree and hid behind Jacky. Both Jacky and Koyosoki were attacking this pedophile and threatening to leak out all his info to the police if he tries to do this again. He then pulled out his phone, deleted all the chat logs, and started running. Oh no, he's not about to get away now, Koyosoki thought. Let's go, he shouted. Both Jacky and Koyosoki started running after this. They already had all the evidence they need, but they aren't going to let him run until he faces all the possible consequences of his actions. They were running after him as fast as they could, and they were able to quickly catch up. We ain't over with you yet, Koyosoki shouted. The man started running faster and faster, but he couldn't escape the grasp of Koyosoki as he jumped and tackled him. Jacky did the same. They both tackled him and pinned him down to the ground. They then started beating the shit out of him to make sure he isn't gonna do this again. They then showed him the evidence and threatened to share it all over FacePage if he ever decides to do this again. If they catch him with any other underage girl again, they will make sure he never sees a normal life again. And they will make sure he gets what he deserves. They let him go for one reason. If they put him in jail now, Benkai will be arrested, as what she did is illegal. They went back to warn the girls. They talked to both Sachi and Benkai, telling them about this man and that they should avoid him at all costs. They also scolded Benkai for sending him this kind of stuff, and told her if he posts them anywhere and leaks her images, it is without a doubt completely her fault. It is definitely not his fault, as she was the one who agreed to send them those images in the first place. However, he is still to blame, as he accepted her offer knowing she is underage and knowing it is illegal to even flirt with her. Jacky and Koyosoki were pissed at this point. They really wanted to share this evidence, but held on for now, for the sake of Benkai. What will happen to Benkai and the man? Will both Jacky and Koyosoki be able to stand down and wait patiently? Will Jacky listen to Koyosoki's advice and just leave Benkai? Find out in the next episode.